All right, and we are live, and my phone just lit up. It said, "Hey, you're going live with Dave Makogon."
Uh-oh.
So
Now I gotta behave.
hey, all right. Let's hit some retweets, get some people out there watching. Yay! So hello, internet. Thanks for tuning in with us at this bright and shiny early hour of the morning. My name is Kevin Griffin. I'm one of the organizers of RevolutionConf coming June 1st and 2nd at the beautiful Wyndham, Virginia Beach in Virginia Beach, Virginia. And today I am joined with our special guest, Dave Makogon. How are you today, Dave?
I'm doing well. How are you, Kevin?
I'm good. Now, as part of our series of getting to know our speakers before the conference, Dave is going to chat with us. And really our goal is when you show up to a conference, whether it's RevolutionConf or JSConf or you name it, you show up and you have a list of really three pieces of information. You know who's giving the talk, you know what the title of the talk is, you know what the abstract's about. But then you have to make a critical decision of which talk do you go to based off those pieces of information. And for most people, you don't know who a lot of these folks are unless they're internet famous like Dave is. But you look at titles and you look at abstracts and you really have to make a justification of, is this talk the one I want to go to, or do I want to go to something else? So we wanted to bring the speakers in to talk about themselves and then their talks, so you have some more context before making those hard decisions. So we have Dave today. Let me switch over to my questions so I don't lose track. Dave, let's start with the easy ones. Tell us about yourself. Who do you work for? Yeah, a little tiny startup in Redmond that I'm aware of.
Well, at one point, yeah, it was a startup, right?
A very, very long time ago, yeah.
Yeah, so
go ahead.
Yeah, so I work for Microsoft, but I'm a DC-based person. So I live in Maryland, and this is, how many places have I lived? Maybe 6 places. I'm an IBM kid. So people used to joke it stood for I've been moved.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I've known you for years. I didn't know you were an IBM kid.
Yeah. Born in Brooklyn, moved to Jersey, out in Midwest for a while, lived upstate New York, and then settled in Maryland.
Wow. So did you ever see the songbook?
The songbook?
The IBM songbook? I've always heard stories about the songbook.
No.
Okay,
but I went to plenty of IBM holiday parties.
I'm sorry, I'm totally going on a tangent now because you brought up IBM. One of the folks at my church, her father was an early IBMer, in the in the 50s, and she used to talk about the songbook and that they would sing the company songs and they had to learn all the company songs. And I'm like, so that's why I always ask if I hear about IBM. I'm like, oh, the songbook.
No. And I don't even know what the 50s are. I'm not that old.
Oh, and then that's slightly older. All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, so that's it. And it's kind of funny. Like growing up, I mean, obviously before the computer age, back when we rode bicycles without helmets and drove in cars without seatbelts. Remember those days?
I do. I am. I tell everyone I'm an old millennial. So I am technically classified as a millennial because of the year I was born, but I am I'm like that stage of millennial that says I remember time before internet, and I remember a time when people didn't get their underwear in a wad about safety and watching kids. And I used to sit in the front seat of my parents' car. It's I don't actually ever remember sitting in a car seat when I was younger. It's yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I have 3 kids. They've all grown up, knowing about computers as the way of life.
Yeah. So let's we actually never mentioned the name of your company that you work for.
Oh, well, yeah. So Microsoft, right?
You work for Microsoft. And what specifically do you do at Microsoft?
I do all things cloud. So Azure is Microsoft's cloud, and that's my primary focus.
And you are a world traveler.
I've been to several places, yeah.
All right, so I want to ask you now, because I know what's the most interesting place you've ever been?
Wow. Well, I've been to Israel a few times, so going there and exploring some of the history that goes back thousands of years, I think that's pretty cool. But also last year I was in Istanbul for the World Humanitarian Summit, so touring in downtown Istanbul was a lot of fun.
I can't really fathom. I'm just thinking about this. I've never really been abroad. Uh, I've always just been stateside, and think back to it. There's really nothing over here that is thousands of years old. Everything over here is, you go back to what, like the 1500s, and those are mostly remakes. They're not the originals. Um, so I can't even imagine going somewhere where everything's thousands of years old, like
Yeah,
all this history.
it's definitely different.
Wow.
So
So let's take that way back machine, and let's go back to the early days of Dave Makogon, and tell us your origin story. How did you get into computers, cloud, software development in general? Tell us that story.
yeah, well, the computer story is a silly one. Um, I as a do I want to tell my age? uh, Back
I'll
when
tell
I
my age if
was,
you tell yours.
yeah, I guess I was early teens, younger than that. Um, a couple of friends and I did something really dumb in the neighborhood, and we got caught. Uh, and so I ended up getting grounded for about 2 months. And right around that time, my dad came home with a brand new IBM PC. He was on the wait list for a while, and as an employee, he got one pretty early. So sitting at home, nothing to do for 2 months, and decided to play with this new computer, and cracked open the books, learned about DOS, learned about BASIC. And then next thing I know, I'm up till 2, 3 in the morning trying to figure out how to do things with it. And that's sort of where the programming took off.
That's awesome. You're not the first person we've interviewed to have that similar experience. I think it was maybe Eli White was the same way. Just started with early basic and just sitting down playing around the computer. I know for me, it was my dad went out to sea for 6 months, and he was the one that was always telling me, "Don't play on the computer, don't play on the computer." So while while the cat's away, the mice will play. As soon as he left, I cracked open DOS for Dummies, and I started learning how to do things. So that's awesome.
Yeah, and it was fun playing with the peripherals. I got to learn how to program a dot matrix printer and do some cool stuff.
Oh man, I haven't seen a dot matrix printer in years.
But said,
Oh,
I lost
man.
one of my early programs. I figured out how to play a drum beat with the dot matrix printhead by making different sounds.
That's awesome. And that
Wasted a
would go
lot of
viral
ribbon.
on YouTube now.
Yeah, that's right.
Now let's get into your RevolutionConf talk. So you're a RevolutionConf veteran. You were
Mhm.
here last year
Yep.
and you did a fantastic talk. But you're back again. So let's talk about your talk in particular for this year.
Okay. So yeah, this talk is going to be about databases that have been hacked. Right? It's called HackDB. All your database are belong to us. And the talk was born out of me seeing a whole bunch of posts over the past, I don't know, maybe 6 months about people that were getting ransom notes in their databases. And I thought that was kind of silly, and I actually didn't believe them. I thought it was kind of a fake news type of thing. So I started reading into it, and sure enough, people were putting their databases online. And I guess through lack of any security or not realizing they had to take certain steps to lock down their database, someone found the database, cleaned out all their data, and left behind a ransom note. And so for fun, I was at a company hackfest a few months ago when I was reading one of these articles, and turned to my teammate. I said, "Wouldn't this be funny if I just put up like a database? I'm just going to put up this open Mongo database, put some dummy data in it, and I bet you by the end of the week I'll be hacked." So the challenge was on, and it took about 48 hours, and my database was hacked, and I had a Bitcoin ransom note waiting for me.
And it's really important. I think the basis of your entire talk needs to come back to this point of these newer types of databases out of the box are extremely unsecure. They're not meant to be open and accessible from the internet. So you don't need administrative privileges to get into them. You just need to know the IP address, and then you can get a list of all the databases on it. Then you can access those databases, and you can do whatever you want to. You don't have to actually authenticate.
Yeah, there's several databases that ship with authentication disabled. And it doesn't take much to enable it, but some people don't take that step. And then the ones that do have auth enabled, sometimes people disable it just so they could easily get to it from their desktop while they're doing some development work, and then maybe forget about it when they go in production.
Yeah.
But even with that, why do you even have your database open on a public port to begin with?
Maybe accidentally, maybe developers, we're not DevOps people or sysadmin, so we're not constantly thinking about the minor details. So it could be pretty easy to do something like that.
I mean, it makes sense if you're a developer trying to get to your database and you have some tools. Like, as an example, MongoDB as a database has a Mongo command line. So it's super easy to open up the command line and just start trying some things out, exploring data, inserting, updating. But do you really want to do that with a production database? Or even with a dev database, what happens if somebody else gets a hold of it and starts using it for their own purposes?
Long time ago, you might remember I used to work on a product called WinSitter.
Mm-hmm.
And WinSitter, we use the Mongo backend. And the benefit for me as a developer was my business partner, Brett, is a sysadmin. So he thinks on a different level altogether, different than I do. And when we got into Mongo, he spent weeks and weeks and weeks just researching the best way to not just host Mongo, but how do you secure Mongo? How do you set up replication and sharding? And does he ensure as the sysadmin that our data is always accessible, always current, and always resistant to failure? And that was one of the first things he did. I remember him sitting across from me going, Mongo's unauthenticated by default? It's like, no, we got to fix that. And so he was giving me the authentication. He's like, all right, so connect with this username and this password. And like, okay, so move everything around. But yeah, for our local databases, my dev database just sitting on my box, that was wide and open. But that's also not open to the internet.
Yeah, and not to pick on Mongo, there are a lot of databases like I think Elastic is open by default, and I want to say maybe CouchDB. Like, all of these have authentication models, but out of the box, you have to take a step to enable them. So I don't want to make this sound like it's just one database that's like this. And then there are database services, like you may have seen Mongo as a service or other databases as a service. Typically, those don't have the authentication issue because someone's taking care of that for you. They say, go ahead and sign up, enter your username and password, and here's your connection string. Have fun. So everything is typically secured when somebody else is managing it. But think about what the cloud's done for us. I mean, you wake up at 2 in the morning and you have a new idea for the next billion-dollar product, and what do? You want to push a couple buttons, spin up a website and a database, and off you go writing code. So if you're spinning up your own database, look how easy it is just to open up a virtual machine and download and run a database in a minute. Sometimes we don't think past that. We just get it running. This is great. Now we want to show our friends, this thing is taken off. Somebody put it on Reddit. This is great. I better just put a .com name in front of it, and I'm off and running. So we have an easy way to bypass some of the common sense things that we would normally do, right?
Yeah, definitely. Well, cool. So if I come to your RevolutionConf talk, you're going to show me all these fancy demos that you did, and you're going to scare the crap out of me, right?
Yes, I like scaring you, Kevin.
All right, yeah, scaring. Yeah, but some people need to be scared because that's when folks take action.
Yep. I'll even show you my ransom note.
Oh, really? Nice. I can't wait.
Yeah, I kept it. And I actually keep my database offline right now, the one that got ransomed, because I'm terrified that someone else will break into it and like take that ransom document and put another one. And so I don't want it to be like the battle of the Bitcoin.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so during the talk, we'll cover like 4 common sense, simple things that you could immediately do to your own database. And once you see them, it's like, oh yeah, this kind of makes sense. I get it.
Oh, excellent. So you're not a first timer to Virginia Beach by any means. You've been down here several times, not just for RevolutionConf. You've spoken at a couple of our user groups. So I'm not going to call you a veteran because you're just visiting. But do you have anything that you think people might want to go check out while they're down here? Do you have anything you're in particular looking forward to, touristy or whatnot, food, activities?
Yeah, so being from the DC area, all I know is traffic. And I would say if you're making the trek to RevolutionConf, just enjoy a little bit of the peace and quiet, because even at busy times during the day, there's not much traffic on the strip. The beach is beautiful. I think our hotel is like right on the beach.
It is, and we're about 5 minutes away from what's considered the touristy part of the beach. So we're actually in residential area where it's quieter. There's less beach traffic, so you could actually walk out on the beach and it's not shoulder to shoulder. If you were down at the boardwalk, the oceanfront area, you would walk out on the beach and there's a sea of people. We won't have that problem.
Yeah.
The only people on our beach are residents or hotel guests,
which is great. And so Thursday and Friday is the conference. I'm staying most of Saturday, so I guess I'll hang out on the beach and enjoy some. Well, hopefully some. I don't mind some conversations if people just want to hang out and talk and.
Yeah,
whatever.
but that's the best experience. Like, we were sitting on the beach, we were just enjoying the air, the ocean, and we're talking about NoSQL database flaws. It's like,
well, last year, I mean, at the conference last year, we had the after party, and I can't remember how many hours I stayed, but it was like out on the back deck. We were just talking tech all night.
yeah, that's the best part of the conference.
Yeah, actually, so last year I did the graph database talk, and I had a guy come up to me because I was doing like, what's the shortest path between some actor and some director or something. And so someone came up and said, my cousin is Susan Sarandon, and I have like this other person who works in, I don't know, film or something. There's no way you have either of them in your database, and there's no way they're connected, right? So I had my laptop with me, and we pulled them up, and up comes the graph showing how like Susan Sarandon is connected to some, I can't even remember who it was. So he started taking pictures of my screen and was going to show them when he got together with his little actor family over the summer.
I wonder how that conversation goes. You're like, hey, Susan Sarandon, did you know you're famous? Look, I have the screenshot. You were on Dave Makogon's computer. That secures your.
Yep. That totally put her on the map. Forget about all the awards and movies.
Well, so we already kind of touched on it, but let's imagine someone's coming to RevolutionConf for the first time, or not really, but first time conference. So they're not used to conferences, especially RevolutionConf isn't your typical conference. It kind of has a different feel and vibe to it. What recommendation would you give to someone who's coming for the first time, the RevolutionConf or really conferences in general?
I would say, well, RevConf, I mean, you have so many sessions, so many speakers coming to town. It doesn't hurt to do a little homework. Like, I mean, you're doing all these videos with the speakers, and we have our profiles up. I saw the list of speakers, and not counting myself, you have some incredible speakers coming to town. I would say try and reach out to some folks you've seen online, people you've seen blogging, doing videos, because you have quite a brain trust coming to town. Don't be afraid to talk to somebody between sessions, and certainly don't be afraid to ask questions. I think a lot of people are intimidated when they come for the first time. They see all the crowds and they want to sit in the back. They want to be quiet. I wouldn't recommend that. I mean, get into it. And
front row.
Yeah, and just close the laptop. Like, right there's,
yes.
I mean,
no one's mentioned that in any of the videos that we've done, and that is a great piece of advice. Don't open your laptop. Don't take out your phone. Sit there and actually absorb yourself into the presentation. These sessions are only 30 minutes long. It's not like most people I see will go 30 minutes through a talk, and that's why we designed it the way we did. Was typically after 30 minutes, that Pomodoro effect kicks in. People start losing track. They like, oh, what's going on in email? Let me check in with work, and you've lost them for the other half of the session. So yeah, put that stuff away. Don't even bring them with you, unless you're a speaker. Then bring your laptop with you.
Yeah, I mean, some people have them. They want to capture notes, but there's always time for email later. There's time for surfing Facebook and Twitter or some other time. A lot of people have put a lot of time and energy into these talks. Just really try and get something out of it. I would say the only exception to that is if you want to pull out your phone and like take pictures of the speakers and tweet about how awesome they are or something.
Yeah.
I think that's always cool.
It's encouraged.
Speakers like to see that, but definitely talk to them, attend as many as you can. I mean, you're making this investment to show up for 2 days as an attendee, right? You're taking time off of work or off of personal time, and why not just get the most you can out of it? But knowing there's you made the sessions 30 minutes long, Kevin, so that means I have to curtail my jokes.
Right. You don't need to curtail anything, sir. You do what you do. Well, excellent. Now is the point where I ask all of our speakers, do you have anything that you're promoting, self-promotion? So today is build day. So all the Microsoft folks out there are going to get some big announcements. You could just announce them all now.
Yeah, I could, but I don't want to do a follow-up podcast where like I'm not working for Microsoft anymore.
Well, so I'll put this up. It's like this is Microsoft NDA. So, unless like I have an NDA with Microsoft, so you can tell me. But I mean, everyone who doesn't have NDAs, they need to turn off the live feed for a couple minutes and don't go watch the video until after 11 a.m. Eastern time. So I mean,
so
go ahead.
That's
warning now.
I'm even wearing my Channel 9 shirt in honor of Build today.
Nice. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And I mean, what's nice about RevolutionConf is we have this amazing mix of, I don't say polyglot because polyglot kind of means a single person speaks and works with a bunch of different technologies. What we really have at RevolutionConf is it's technology agnostic. So it doesn't matter if you're coming from the Microsoft side, if you're a JavaScript, Node, all the things person, or if you're Python or Ruby on Rails. It doesn't matter. We can all get together and we can all learn something from each other because we're all basically the same. We're just using slightly different languages and platforms, which makes RevolutionConf amazing.
No, I think it's terrific. And some of the sessions are going to be cross-cutting. They'll apply in general. Some will be very specific. I took a look at the agenda. It looks really good. But so build is happening today and tomorrow. There's going to be a ton of stuff around the cloud. There's going to be stuff on, well, I guess I can't say.
Yeah.
And then from me specifically, I'm still doing a lot of talks. Like I'll be at RevolutionConf. I was just at the Northern Virginia Code Camp where you and I saw each other. A few months ago, I was at Hampton Roads, the .NET user group there, right? It was Hampton.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'll continue to give talks in the area. And I've been holding off. I have a blog post I wrote about what I'm talking at RevConf, but I'm holding off publishing it until the June session. So that'll be on my blog, which is at dmac.io.
So, well, excellent. Then where can people find you on the internet? You said reach out to speakers before the conference.
Yep.
Where do we find David Makogon?
I'm on Twitter at Makagon. You could always put that, I guess, in the comments.
I already did.
Yep. Oh, awesome. dmac.io is my blog. I also have Facebook/dmac.online, which is just cloud computing page. I post all the latest news and updates that I come across. And I think that's pretty much it. I mean, I'm on LinkedIn somewhere, and I'm always answering stuff on Stack Overflow, but that's not really a conversational area.
So that's a good point. Go ask an Azure question on Stack Overflow, and most likely Dave Makogon will answer it for you.
Well, at least I'll look at it.
Or you'll make a comment going, "This is a stupid question. I think you were just
No,
trying to lure me here."
wait, no, I don't make comments about being stupid questions.
In public.
I will admit to editing quite a few questions and removing things like thanks in advance or I'm a beginner. And I mean, I think that's even better than compression on a database, is just removing all the fluff around all these questions.
You're compressing the questions.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, excellent. So Dave Makogon, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. And we will see you at RevolutionConf. Those of you out there watching, tickets are still on sale. You can grab them now. So today is May 10th. Tickets will go up in price a little bit next week because we're counting down. We have less than a month before RevolutionConf. But we'll see you there June 1st and June 2nd in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Dave Makogon and 49 of our other amazing speakers that we have. Dave, thanks so much.
All right. Thank you, Kevin. I'll see you in a few weeks.
Yes, sir.